Hey guys, I'm Paco the Realtor. 16 years of experience, helped over 200 families buy and sell the American dream. I'm a local expert, I'm a professional, and I take care of my clients. I pride myself in educating my clients, and I'm also really sarcastic and a storyteller. So why don't you guys get to know me?
What's up, guys? This is Paco, the Realtor, broker, owner of RX Real Estate, local expert storyteller. And today is Taco Tuesday with Paco. Today, I want to talk to you, actually tell you a story to make a point about Robert and June. They're a couple clients of mine, friends of mine, that wanted to sell and wanted to buy. But the idea was overwhelming. It was so overwhelming that they pretty much explained to me they wanted to do it, but chose not to do it because they didn't want to play. It was too much for them. So let me back up. Stop it. So let me back up. So Robert and June called me a few years ago and said that they wanted to upgrade. They wanted to upgrade and they wanted to go from the city to buy a ranch. They lived in Riverside and they wanted to go maybe to Paris Nuevo, somewhere that had land. They had 2 horses that were boarded up, so they paid for that, and they thought it was time to do it. They, of course, explained their dreams of everything they wanted, what they wanted, how they wanted it. That was the easy part. But then when we got to the details, it got to the point where, well, let's just say that that's where all the roadblocks started. They had 2 kids, elementary age, son and daughter. And the daughter was the one that was a horseback rider with the dad. And they wanted this for the daughter because she was really good at horseback riding. She competed and everything. And that was a driving force. They had equity in their house. So they had enough to make a down payment, but they had been there 10 years. And the idea of selling the home, their first home, and then buying another one and starting all over again just seemed so overwhelming, to the point of paralysis. June explained to me that she had been thinking about it for years, had been talking about it, but she was scared to pull the trigger because it just seemed too much to get. You know, it's hard enough to buy a house, which, by the way, wasn't the best story for them. So they had that sick taste in their mouth, and then now you have to buy another one and sell yours at the same time. It just wasn't going to work. Well, after they got done telling me their vision, their goals, their dream, their why, of course, they were very quick to point out their fears, which everybody does. Fear of not finding the right house, fear of not having to sell their house and not having where to go, fear, the emotional attachment of giving up the house that their kids have grown up in. Had they, is it the right decision? Is it the right time? I mean, you can go on and on and on and on. And it was about an hour and a half conversation, and I can be honest, most of it was fears. So I started talking to him about how we would do this, the process, not to overwhelm them. First find out what your home is worth, then find out what your net's going to be. Then after you have the net, find out, is it enough to buy where you want to buy, that kind of stuff. And if it is, then we pull the trigger. If it isn't, then nothing happens. Of course, I explained to him about a contingency and how that works, and then how that works, and that wouldn't be a problem, and they weren't going to be forced to sell their house if they didn't find another one. So I all the boring but important legalities behind it. Well, when it was all said and done, they were still on the fence. Both kids were there, and the kids were like, "We can do it. We can do it." Dad was more willing to do it. Mom was more fearful. So I said, "Look, you have everything lined up for you. You have equity. You don't have to sell. There's no time constraints. If it takes 1 week, 1 month, or 3 months, it doesn't matter. You just got to deal with the headache of the process." She's like, "I get it. It's just hard for me to pull that trigger." So at the end, the daughter, I asked her, "What do you want to do?" She's like, "Oh, I want my ranch, and I want this, and I want that." And so I said, okay, I'll make you a bet. I said, if I can sell the house at the price you guys need it for, and I can find you a ranch that comes with the corrals and things that you already need, I said, you owe me a lollipop. She looked at me, she goes, yeah, you owe me a lollipop. And she goes, okay, deal. So I did a pinky swear with her, and we did a deal. Now, that was not legally binding, of course, but it pushed the parents in the right direction to at least explore. So we went ahead and researched how much their net was going to be after they sold. Then we went ahead and after we knew how much money they were going to make, we got them pre-qualified to make sure that was good. And then after that happened, then we went ahead and started looking. 2 months later, we found a property in Romoland that was perfect. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet, half-acre lot. Already had the corrals, already had everything. And when we went to pull the trigger, of course they were fearful, but a little shove. And I thought everything was fine. And then one night I get a call that says they've been thinking about it and they're thinking that they're not going to move forward. It's just too much for them. So I try to talk some sense into them. It doesn't work. And I go to sleep thinking it's not going to happen, all right? Next day I wake up and there's a text message from the mom, June, and she says, continue, make the offer, let's make this happen. So I did, sent it over for signatures. We made the offer, it was accepted. Once it was accepted, within 2 weeks I had their house in escrow. Here's the moral of the story. After the offer is accepted, I go to meet with them in person to start going over the process, disclosures, stuff like that. And I asked June, I said, what changed your guys' mind? As I'm saying that, there's a box of lollipops on the table. And I'm like, what is this? And she proceeds to tell me that her daughter, out of her own allowance, had bought a box of lollipops to give to me in anticipation of getting the house. The daughter had more hope because she didn't have fear than the parents did. And that was enough for the mom to say, we got to do this. And 3.5 years later, it worked out. They love it. All of the above. Of course, I'm not here to say that it all went smooth. There was problems with the appraisals, but we worked out all the details. What's the moral of the story for Taco Tuesday? Faith for children is powerful. And sometimes we need to sit down and listen to what they have to say. And the mom had made it very clear to me that she had already made up her mind that she was not going to move forward out of fear. And when she saw that with her daughter, that was enough to push her forward and give her hope that, you know what, let's do this. And it worked out. I tell this story because it's just not about real estate. It's just not about buying and selling houses. I use that as an example because buying and selling a house to begin with can be very challenging. Doing 2 of them at one time can be extremely challenging, and that's why I always affiliate it with that story. But more importantly, I think we kind of forget that we once were children, and then we somehow grew up and have all these responsibilities, which are important. But it's funny how our children sometimes have more hope than we do. And you got to ask yourself, where in this whole process of life did we start to lose that? I think a lot of it has to do with financial responsibility and making sure we don't lose what we saved up, and I completely understand that. But at the same time, at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is that if we have a goal in mind and we have faith, we move forward, whether it's real estate or anything else. And all it took was a lollipop. So next time you're thinking of a situation where you're freaking out, think of the lollipop. And you never know, might trigger something. All right, guys? Well, that's my Taco Tuesday with Paco. As always, this is Paco, the Realtor broker, owner, local expert, storyteller. And today I'm coming from my backyard because it's a nice evening now, drinking some Hangity Orchard, and getting ready to go back inside and do what I got to do. All right, guys. I hope everybody's having a good night. Hasta luego. Buenas noches.
Hey guys, thanks for watching my video. Hope you love the content. Subscribe below, or follow me on social media. Just type Paco the Realtor.